Okay, well, let's take a quick look at some other SketchUp drawings I've done. And this is just the mechanical closet. I didn't feel the need to draw out the whole house because all I was doing here, this was an existing house. I was just reducting the mechanical room because there's been some remodeling work done. And so what we have here is the existing air handler. This belongs to the Linux video I made, and also the dryer rant. This is the air handler to that system. Back out here. You'll see my return. This is the central return for most of the house, or this side of the house. And I don't like square angles, but I did this on purpose in this location because it's competing with a return that they had that had been previously installed and was somewhat undersized to the other side of the house. Plus it made some turns. It made a turn up through the floor, and I had to turn it into the duct. So that's all nice and curved. Oops, I hate it when I do that. Opposed to the duct that's very close that I made square angles. The other reason of doing square angles is to kill noise, because it is so close. So I made that a blind corner to eliminate noise, blower noise, so you don't hear it through this grill out there. And that's also why it blows up so big, is to get the velocity down through that grill so you're not going to hear it. So I installed a flue concentric vit for this, and that was that one. We'll look at another one here real quick. It's kind of neat. Gotta forgive my computer, it's 10 years old. What you see here is the house is broke down several times over and over. We'll rotate around. This is it's actually an addition. It was an addition to the house that I was doing, and you'll see my breakdown, floor by floor. And here is where most of it's going on at. It's this crawl space, the crawl space here in this basement. All that was here was the furnace, and it's got a return coming down this side. It's just flexed up to a big floor grate in the old house, and this is all just flexed out of this plenum. Actually, this plenum I built. I did away with the original plenum because I added air conditioning and installed the ductwork to feed the new addition with the upstairs. So I drew all this out. I drew out the entire house. They did not have a SketchUp model for me. So this is just kind of a breakout of the system by itself, which I think is kind of cool looking. I spent a little bit of time drawing this guy out. So where I'm trying to find, oh yes, I had to build quite a few fittings for this job, and I broke them all out. I just cut them out of the drawing, copied them, and pasted them over here so that I had a list. This is kind of a cut list, if you will, of all the fittings, special fittings I needed to build outside of what I could buy. Okay. And now we're going to look at the project I'm starting. Just as soon as I find it. Here it is. Give this abacus a minute to warm up. I can hear the hard drive over there just fighting with itself. There we go. Okay. So what we have is return. I don't want to give too much detail, but so I don't know how they people might want a voodoo or something. But there's a return. Bedroom there. We've got a little return. I could not get enough return house. This house is actually a modular house. It comes in 3 sections. There's a section, and we've got returns there. These orange things are ERV. I'm putting the same ERV in that I did on the 1 watt house. And see, there's fresh air and stale air. And we are going to undo the move, so we'll look down the basement now. Here's the design we've got. ERV sits over here. Just zoom in on that. We'll pan around. This is the ERV. Green indicates fresh air. Orange indicates stale air. Yellow indicates return. Purple is supply trunk. Red is supplying the basement. Blue is supplying the main level. So you can see how that orange duct's lined up with that. That's the ERV stale air. So this is what I'm working on currently, and what I will hopefully be making some videos, more videos of the installation process now, because that's where I'm at now. Okay. Alright, let's have a closer look at some of the details in this drawing. I'm going to fabricate some of these fittings that you can't buy, like these Broadway or Hardway, depending on what duct manufacturer you're buying from. Going to make these. They're 8x16, 8-inch radius. So that's the 0.5, which gains you a lot of equivalent footage. When you buy fittings at your supply house, and I don't know, either they're either totally square-throated, and they got a curve on the back, and they look kind of pretty like that, but basically those are totally ineffective. If rather than spend your money on those, if you're going to use those, just butt your duct square together, because there's no benefit to that outside curve. The inside curve is what does all the work. That air flows around that like an airplane wing. Or if you take a spoon and you gently hold it under a faucet, you'll notice the water contours around that spoon. However, if you try to turn the spoon over and cup the water that you intuitively would think would work, you'll find the water just splatters out everywhere. It becomes very turbulent. Well, of course, it's going to be more turbulent if it strikes a flat edge, but it's the inside edge that does all the work. So I've got to build these two. I'll talk more about duct design, how I arrived at this. I'm kind of jumping around, not doing things in the correct order, because there's just so much to get to, and I've got to do this in a reasonable time frame while I'm working on it. This T here, I need to build that. I need to build these elbows. There is an elbow down here I need to build. I'm jumping up from this. This is the supply trunk right off the plenum, and I've got to build this 10 inches tall, and this duct is 8 inches tall, so I've got to build some duct adapters to go that way. We'll swing down here. Let's back out for a second. I'll get rid of the staircase. Hide. Now, we'll rotate in here, and let's have a look at the air handler closet. Okay. And let's just take a quick look at the ERV. There it is, and I just have the filters sticking out of it in the drawing so that I always maintain my clearances when I use that particular drawing. And I have made that into a component so I can use that piece over and over again in different drawings, because that's probably the only ERV I plan to use.